Hey guys, what's up? It's Darkmech here and welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about my first impressions of Antorus the Burning Throne. So I've been through normal and heroic now, and I just wanted to sort of give my feedback in regards to how I found the raid. And it's I don't raid, so I'm not gonna see the mythic side of things. So I've pretty much sort of seen what I'm going to see now, and now it's just about sort of farming it for gear. But from a first impression standpoint, I was really impressed with the raid. I think hats off to Blizzard. They created a fantastic end raid for Legion. It's what I liked most about it, I think, is that everybody had mechanical importance in the fights. It sort of wasn't set up where one or two classes could sort of carry mechanics and the rest of the people didn't have to sort of do a lot. Everybody had sort of involvement in the fights, and I know that's generally how it always works. Obviously, there's DPS, healer, and tank mechanics to worry about, but this just felt like a really good spread of having everyone involved in mechanics. One thing I'll certainly say is I think Blizzard did a good job from their Q&A where they wanted to sort of move away from Tomb of Sargeras mechanics, for example, like Heroic Kill Jaden, or even just normal Kill Jaden with Armageddons, where people not standing in them would pretty much screw the entire raid straight off the bat, especially at entry gear level. They wanted to move away where mistakes were still punishing, but they maybe punished you later on throughout the fight rather than causing a straight up wipe after 4 minutes of going. One person stuffs up and then you have to wipe. They wanted to kind of remove that factor, and I think they successfully did in this raid. The issue that I found going from normal to heroic was there certainly is a gap from normal to heroic. However, heroic, in my opinion, certainly felt undertuned, especially Argus the Unmaker. When you compare Argus to Heroic Kill Jaden was on a complete other level. And I know I just spoke about how they wanted to remove, that person not standing in Armageddon wipes your raid. In Argus, we certainly can get by, especially moving into the last phase where everyone can get rezzed anyway. But it's just very, very, very forgiving. And even the tank damage was extremely low in comparison to, say, something like Fellclaws. But that's just my 2 cents from Heroic. I don't know how that's going to play out in the Mythic race. I know that they said Mythic Tomb of Sargeras was tuned probably too hard. Whether or not they've taken the slider back on all versions of difficulty on this raid, perhaps a little too far. I don't know. The other side to this coin is that maybe with the Titan Forge system, people are just going into Antorus with ridiculous amounts of gear. Because, as I said, everything did certainly feel undertuned, and it could be because Blizzard took it back too far. It could very well be because we're just going in with so much gear from Netherlight Crucible, from Titan Forging and things like that, that it's made it so much easier. From a tank perspective, there's a couple of fights that stood out as being sort of really impressive. I think Agramar, Coven, and probably, Argus visually was an amazing fight. From a tank mechanical perspective, it certainly didn't feel like anything special. I did like the Avatar and the Soul Bomb soaks though. I thought that was pretty cool. Agramar for me was a real standout, not only in regards to visually, but the 100% 5 combo I thought was really cool. The 100% energy 5 combo, sorry, with the Foe Breaker, Flame Rend, and Searing Tempest. I thought that was really cool, having to split the Foe Breakers, having to spin for Flame Rend. I really enjoyed that fight, and I felt you had to be fairly switched on for it. And Coven as well was a bit of a retard check in regards to tanks as well, paying attention, so I enjoyed that. The rest of them from a tank perspective are fairly boring. I know there's generally not a hell of a lot you can do with tanks. It's generally going to be like a swap on 3 stacks kind of thing. But a lot of these bosses from a tank perspective, from normal and heroic, were really, I feel it's pretty safe to say, boring. There wasn't many differences from normal to heroic for tanks, which is good because it made it really easy to get guides out because you could smash through normal quickly. But in terms of sort of tank interactiveness and involvement in that encounter, there wasn't sort of a hell of a lot going on. And I think the sort of split to that was they made it so raid wide raid-wide involvement was fairly important in these encounters, sort of versus having one role doing a hell of a lot of things, which I'm okay with. As I spoke about, it just felt the difficulty was probably a little bit undertuned. ENR the Lifebinder, this fight's copped a lot of flack. I really enjoyed it just because it was something really different. It's a loot pinata, it's free, so that's really cool. But it's just a different fight, so I enjoyed that. And otherwise, like, I just think they did a really good job. I think visually the raid is like something we've never seen. Argus the Unmaker is absolutely amazing. Agrimar, when you're going up to the Burning Throne and running up, I think that gave you a real sense of what you were going into. And hats off to Blizzard, I just think they did an outstanding job. I've played through on the Brewmaster and I've done a bit on the Blood Death Knight. Both tanks amazingly solid through here. The Blood DK probably felt a little bit more solid than my Brewmaster, and my Brewmaster has more gear than my Blood Death Knight now, but the Blood DK certainly felt super solid. If you've watched, and I imagine every tank out there would have watched Sko's rankings by now, he had Guardian at 1, Blood DK at 2, and Brewmaster at 3, and I certainly feel that's a great representation. I have not done anything in here on my Guardian yet, but as I said, I did sort of compare Blood and Brewmaster, and Blood certainly felt more solid. Brewmaster certainly stood out on a few fights though, like Portal Keeper Brewmaster was awesome with Rushing Jade Wind just for DPS, ads and things like that. Same with High Command with ads, Rushing Jade Wind Brewmaster for me really stood out as well in regards to damage and just ease of picking up ads and things like that. Not that ads are hard to pick up, but you know where I'm going with this. And Argus the Unmaker, even taking scythes, the stagger with high tolerance and things like that, was also really OP on the Brewmaster as well, I thought, in regards to taking more stacks so far than I've seen some of the other tanks I've played with, taking mainly Vengeance Demon Hunters and Blood Death Knights are the two tanks that I've sort of come across at the moment. So that's my thoughts anyway, guys. Keen to hear how you found the new raid, what fights you've liked, what fights you've disliked, and how you're going progress-wise. If you're playing a tank, how you going? If you've been using my tank cheat sheet, if you found that helpful, other things that you would like to see added onto it for future reference and things like that, let me know, guys. Keen to hear from you. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. See you guys.